Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode, the 14th part of the course in which we'll be making the Blade of the Ancients from scratch using Blender. In the last video, we finished sculpting our blade in general. As you can see, I also added some more of the details. Let me show you what I used. So for these creases, of course, I used the crease brush with different radiuses and different strengths. For these texture parts, I just used the clay strips brush, the positive and the negative radius, otherwise direction, and for these damaged parts, I use the scrape brush. And I've done that much detail so I can see how well Blender can bake smaller details like this. And baking is a process that we'll be doing after we retopologize. So it's time for retopology, another new chapter. Remember when we did edit mode, then we advanced into the sculpting mode? Well, now we're going into a new phase, retopology. So let me first explain to you what retopology is and why do we need to do it. So retopology is let's say, a method in which we cover our high poly mesh, our handle and our ornaments. You can see they have almost 2 million vertices, which means they are high poly. We cover them with planes to make them have less polygons. The planes we use to cover them are a separate object. There's one real-life example I like to use, and that is the planes are like the pieces of aluminum foil, and our blade is an object we want to wrap in that foil. It can be a ham, whatever you want to keep in your fridge so it does not spoil. Yeah, like a part of cheese even. But we use the foil to wrap the objects, but those objects keep their shape. We cannot see the detail, we cannot see the colors, but we can still see the general silhouette, let's say. And after we cover our objects with planes, they will have less vertices. The only downside is they will have less detail. But do not worry, the detail we lose with retopology, we can get back with baking. And we'll do that, of course, after retopology. And why do we do it, is the question. Well, higher vertex count, more vertices, means we will have more lag. If you want objects to be used in a video game or like a video render, you want to make it as low poly, but still keep the details. Because higher vertex count can cause more lag and even crashing if there are multiple objects in your scene. And that's why we retopologize. It also helps animators to animate objects with lower poly quickly and much more efficient. The only exception in which you don't have to retopologize, otherwise when you can leave the object as it is because if you want to use the object for a still render. It's like when you don't have many objects in your scene, you just want to go to the render tab and render a simple image. I mean, my camera is not set up, but you can see the Blender had almost no problem rendering an object with million vertices. It still depends on your computer or laptop performance. Mine can handle up to 10 million vertices without any problems. Well, it's good not to test it for your computer, for Blender and anything. And that is why we retopologize objects. And let's begin with it. So what you want to do is go into front view. Then let me enable my screencast keys. You have this option, Shift S. You get this menu here. You want to choose the cursor to world origin. You remember what the cursor does. So cursor, otherwise this red and white part, is where your objects will spawn. And that is what we want, because we want to bring in, with Shift A, a simple plane, our aluminum foil, our X90 to rotate it, Then I will go into edit mode with only plane selected, so press tab. I will just disable the proportional editing. Do you remember the key? Oh, that's right. Bring it up here, scale it down, so it is kind of size of our handle. Then we need some modifiers to be able to begin retopology. You want to go to the modifiers tab or the wrench properties, how I should call it. The first modifier we will add is under generate and it's called the mirror modifier. So we add it and you can see now our object is mirrored on the x-axis. But we do not want that. We want to disable the x and enable the y. But if you see from here, it should mirror on like this side and that side. And if you see, it is just mirroring down here. You want a different result? Well, you have this mirror object option. You can just grab the pipette and select the handle. Now, it is mirroring alongside handle and that is what we want. So up here you can see this side of the object and this side are not symmetrical, but these two sides, if I split it in half, are. We want to make it smaller, much smaller. And then we want to add another modifier. So we want to go to the deform tab, add a shrink wrap modifier. Then wrap method near surface is okay. And many people use on surface, but I found it much better if you use above surface. Leave the offset at 0 and target also the handle. Now you see we have a different result. Our plane is like conforming to our mesh. But before we begin with topology, there is one more step we need to take. Enable the snap here. Then you want to change the type of snapping from increment, which is default, to face project. Then you can select backface culling, project individual elements. If you hover over them, they will tell you, like, exclude backfacing geometry from snapping, and project individual elements, project elements on surface of other objects. And you can also select the align rotation to target, it's fine. And if you want to see a difference, if I grab this vertex and press G, oops, something happened, it's conforming. But of course, you do not retopologize by just grabbing this plane, spin it on it, and just... We need to follow the lines of geometry. So let's first make this. We want to follow these lines first. And you can see our mesh is getting into way, is intersecting with this, and we cannot see much. We fix that by going to the object properties, view per display, and enabling infront option. Under here we can also enable different colors, which make it much more fun to retopologize. Ooh, I like this one. It's like a sky blue. And you can see now it is mirroring on both sides, and we can see it good. But for now, you can go into the properties and disable this square, which is that you don't see the mirror modifier in edit mode, but only in object mode. It helps when you're just starting to retopologize because this is annoying. Like, this is what I'm editing, this is what is mirrored. So I just conform it to the mesh. First, we want to make quads. And yes, I want to explain this to you too. So, we retopologize mostly in quads. That goes for organic objects. In organic objects, you try to avoid triangles. Triangles are like, let's say this. I mean, you know what triangle is. You avoid triangles because it can cause some like weird deformations. Let's undo that. But since this blade is not going to be animated, we can use triangles. And we can use quads. Like, quads are the optimal type when it comes to retopologizing. Triangles are not that bad, even though everybody is screaming that you should avoid them at any cost. But there's something that's worse than a triangle. Let me show you. So, okay, let's extrude this, merge these two. Let's just extrude another face, extrude another face here. Yes, it's a little bit difficult to make, but you can make it like this, and then merge this thing. And for example, if you connect it like this, do not do that. Just don't follow this vertex. It's like basically a hexagon or something. It can cause so many shading errors and weird deformations. It's sometimes necessary to do it on the face because you have multiple edge loops, otherwise multiple vertices coming from all sides, and this sometimes cannot be avoided, but you don't have to do this. You do not need to do this on an object like this, so avoid this. This is bad. Oh no, now I deleted everything. Undo it. As we learned now, there are different types of shapes we can use to retopologize: triangles, quads, and other. Okay, let's just through this and like this. This is a good example to show you another option, which is called the snap to merge vertices. So, up here in the options, we have the so-called threshold, or how close the vertices need to be to merge together. As you can see now, it's 0.001, and trying to merge it, it's hard, but what that does is, let me show you. So you have one vertex here, and you want to connect it to this vertex, like this. And you need just to drag to it, release, and now it's one vertex. If I make this like 0.01, let me extrude one here and one here. Now I can drop it here, and you can see it's much more sensitive. And we will want that enabled. 0.01 should be now fine because we still have big polygons. So let's just extrude it. We want to conform to the shape, make like even shapes like this. Let's extrude with E once here. Drag it all the way to here. I think I will make this. Yes. In the start, we want to have as less vertices as we can have, because we can easily add more of them later using loop cuts like this. Then when we press G to conform it to the mesh. But it is for that, it's easier to add than to remove vertices later and lose the shape, and you need to tweak all over again. Okay, let's just extrude this and this. Now, if I enable mirror, you can see we have these things here. And we want them to merge. At first, you can see it's not quite working. The snap or the merge doesn't work. It's because we need to enable clipping on the mirror. So, we want to go to these modifier tabs, enable clipping, like this. And now they're one vertex and cannot be separated. Like, they're holding hands over a cliff, and this one doesn't want to let this one fall. Okay, anyway, let's just connect these two. And you can see the shape is quite not right, but we can always add a vertex like here. Let's just add one here. And now it's fine. We are getting a shape we want. Then let's disable the edit mode so we don't see it here. I just add one here. Yes, I think I will add one here. Extrude, drop so it merges. Then we'll add one here. And if you're curious, if you want to know how many vertices you should have, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve and work on. So let's get to the gaming, for example. The mobile games have characters that have like 10,000 vertices, 20,000 vertices max. And then you have the games that you play on PC and laptop. Some games that are realistic, like Witcher, can have up to 80,000 vertices, but only the most complex models. And you can say that is still not much. The game can run smoothly and you can have beautiful detail. But million is too much, as we can have now. Okay. And there are also addons which you can use to make your retopology much easier. But I do recommend first learning retopology without help of any addons, so you know what you will need and what you want to achieve. Okay, let's see, I can maybe do this. I think it should be fine. Yeah, let's just bring it here. Yeah, retopology is like thinking what will work best in which situation, lining things up a bit, and just trying to get the best result. It's often a very slow process, and many people that do sculpting do not like retopology. Well, they hate it. But I don't want you to hate retopology. It is what is necessary to do, and I think they will pay you more in the industry if you say you know how to do retopology. It's like programming. There are people that like to design things like web pages and that, and when you say to them, do you know how to program like in C++ or other, they're like, no, programming, I don't like that. Well, if you do like that, you'll get a better payment, so why not let something like this? It is merged. Well, if you like geometry, it is fun. And of course you get better with practice. At first, retopology for me was probably the hardest thing from everything I learned, but I didn't learn animation. I know the animation can be much more harder. It still depends on what you first started working for. You see here, let's add another loop cut, then press G to conform it. Okay, add another one. Oddly enough, this process is faster than sculpting our blade. But, well, if you do it sloppy now, we'll need to tweak it later more. But it's much easier to tweak it later than now, like, now we can just try to move it so it looks some more better, but if we add more vertices, then we'll need to line those up too, and then we'll just end up lining up the vertices like 90% of the time. So that is why we do tweaking at the end, when we are almost finished or finished with the model. Okay, let's do this here. Ooh, what is here happening? Oh no, it merged. We don't want you to merge. Ah, it merged again. One way to fix that is to disable the clipping here, and now we can extrude without any trouble. You can see it went there, but it's no problem. Hope it merged here. It did. Nice. Let's add a look at here, because I can barely see what is happening on the handle. On here, let's extrude here. Hope I'm not going too fast. If I am, pause the video and don't worry, just pick up your own pace and enjoy the process as well. Because how the blade will look in the end also depends on your retopology. Let's delete these ones. Let's merge these two together, yes. Okay, now let's enable clipping. Let's just add another loop cut here. Let's extrude these ones. This should be fine. This triangle here should not cause any problems. The reason I myself avoid triangles is this. If I want to add a loop cut here, you can see it goes all the way through. If I want to add a loop cut here where the triangle is, it stops. But when I add it, I can add a loop cut normally. But if you want to add multiple loop cuts, they have face that has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. And that is not good. Yes, I forgot. The face with so many vertex points, like these 5 or 6, otherwise more than 4, is a problematic face and probably the worst type you think you can have when you retopologize. It's not even the one that has like connected vertices, it's this one. You want to avoid this one. Okay. So I just face mode. I just delete. No. Let me just try to undo that. Okay, it's fine. Like this. Now I will put here, extrude. Yeah, it requires much thinking. Unlike sculpting that you can just do, here you need to think. I would like to disconnect these parts. I can actually do something like this with pressing V. It just disconnects certain parts, and I can connect them like this again. Then I can make a triangle here, make a quad here, to conform it. Looks fine, and it should be fine for now. Okay, oh, we need to enable back clipping, do not forget that. I'll just make sure it is conformed the way it should be. It's not. Let's press 3. This part isn't, so I just snap it like this. It is straight. And if I exit the edit mode, you can see this is how it looks. And low edit, this object mode helps us see that these ones are not connected. And now they are. And it helps us see that we'll need to add one more loop cut here, but about that later. Let's just try to enclose this part here. We can, for example, extrude these ones like this, these two, not these 3. Okay, conform it. I want to disable the snapping. I want to make a face from this. It should be fine. Let me just try one more thing, like extruding. No. Let's lower the threshold. This is too much. I'll set it to 0, 0, 1, like 2 zeros. And now, yes, it merges when I want it to. Perfect. Let's look at this face from different angles. It's actually not good. You can see when I look at it from a certain view, it's like it has a hole in it. You can see here. This is a good example. I just actually wanted to show you of triangulation. So if you do quads, well, Blender doesn't see them as quads. It triangulates the mesh automatically. So it sees this part here as like these two are connected. This is what Blender sees. This is also what Blender sees, like a bunch of triangles. but leave it to Blender. And here is better to have a triangle, for example. And we'll adjust it so it fits later. And we can do this, this, then we can like this. But if we want to spend so much time tweaking, we can do that later. Now we will need to focus to wrap our handle first. And we can also hide the other parts that we're not retopologizing, so we're not going to retopologize ornament. Otherwise, we'll retopologize it as a different object. Also our blade, and let's leave just the handle. Okay, let's just start with these bigger parts. I don't know if I mentioned, but the hard surface object, like this blade, is not going to be animated. We can do triangles more freely. Okay, like this. Then let's just fill those parts here, like this. Nice. And if you want a quicker way, you can also select this whole edge loop if you've done these previous parts. Press A to extrude. And nice, we've done a bigger chunk of retopology with just one button. And if you have any questions about retopology, feel free to ask in the comments. I do not bite. I will actually gladly explain it to you, because now I'm trying to get into your position to know, like, what do you think about retopology? Like, do you have any questions, things that are not like obvious to you? Because I learned this like a long time ago, and trying to put myself into the mind of my students is what I want to do. I want to explain to you everything I wanted to be explained to me when I started learning this. Okay, yes, okay. As you can see here, I've clicked here, pressed F, and it makes a face. That is an add-on I will talk about in the next video, of course. It will make your process easier, but I told you it's better now to just first get used to regular things. Oh, if I exit the edit mode, wow, we already done a huge part of it. It's looking quite nice. Okay, let's retopologize a bit more. Hope you like this. If not, well, try to enjoy, just give it a try. I myself hated retopology, but when you learn how to do it, it becomes also relaxing. Even more so when you think about it, like, I need to do it. It's necessary. Let's make a triangle. Not good. Not a good place for a triangle. Let's press V to remove this. What else? Yes, this. Connect these two. Oh, this is a bit... How do I want to do that? Okay, now it's fine. I fixed it. Not good at geometry. I can add a loop cut here. Yes, and this fixes it entirely. It looks fine. Nice. Okay, let's retopologize this down part here, and then we'll move upward. I actually should have started this part here before coming over here, because here the retopology is much more complex than, for example, retopologizing almost a cylinder right here. But when you have a harsh start, this later will be just like easy for you, and you will be thankful. You will say thank you for making me retopologize these hardest parts first. Okay, let me just line this up so it's not as bad. Let's try to do this as well. Fill those parts. Conform this part. Let's extrude once again. G to move. It's coming along. I like it. Hope you're doing good as well. If you think I'm going too fast, feel free, pause the video once again. Okay, we're getting to this part here. Nope, not you. Let's extrude this. Like this. Oh no, not again. Connect, please. Thank you. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, here I have more sides. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try to do something else. I do not want that. Okay, so let's just, I don't know, let's extrude, yes, extrude this. And I have 5 here as well. No, it should be fine. Let's just do what we want, and if it causes a glitch, we'll fix it later. Do it now, worry about it later. Basically. Want the triangle here. Extrude here. Merge with this. Extrude here, merge with this. We'll need a loop cut here. G to conform it. These parts, so just bring them here. So it lines up. Let's go to the mode to see what we have now here. So once we retopologize fully, we are going to just right click and shade it, smooth it. And you can see, you might be like, ooh, this doesn't look good. It's fine. We'll add more vertices. We'll not use the subdivision surface, but for example, this is fine because we have some shading and we'll get the detail with baking. And don't forget to save. Now the first time I just did something that didn't save, and everything went to yes. For some reason it didn't even save for me, but it did. It should be. You should see it in recover, last session, or autosave if you have the autosave feature on. I want to thank you for watching and following along. Hope you enjoyed it and learned something useful and new. So don't forget to share, subscribe, like, and of course comment. I do appreciate any comments you can give me. And I want to see you in the next one. Bye bye!